We are thankful. This is the market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. Did Wall Street FUD you out of the market? Did Wall Street FUD everybody out of the market? Did they attack Michael Saylor? Did they buy all the Bitcoin below 80? Did they get short? Then they got on an airplane or in a car, headed for Thanksgiving dinner, headed to go see mom. And then they look at their phone and go, oh no, I shouldn't have gotten short the Bitcoin ETF. Ruh-roh. By the way, the equity market closes in 15 minutes and they only have 4 hours on Friday to cover themselves. Meanwhile, crypto can just run wild like Hulkamania. Everyone's like, well, the chart's broken. Oh, okay. Wait until Saturday and I'll come back and check with you after I've eaten your turkey. Naturally, our customers are sitting pretty. They bought at 80 and the YouTube member area is all set up because Toby Ward, who's never been wrong about anything ever, got on this podcast and just said, yeah, it's over. That's it. It's over. I could have closed it right there. It's over. And then, of course, we have AI coins and the 2026 preview already set and ready to go. So if you're going to go shop on Black Friday, skip one electronics item. Don't buy 2 DVDs. Come see us. Naturally, we're going to go over some of the unbelievable charts in Patreon. You know, I got laughed out of the building on a couple of them. Yeah. Who is laughing now? Now, in all seriousness, this is classic. Classic. So either all U.S. holidays, they do this. All of them, right? You know, they collapsed it. I remember on the yen carry trade, I think that was Labor Day. You know, that was a 20% move. They get you either when you're at the airport. They get you after you've eaten your dinner. They get you when you're at church. They just get you, right? They go, okay, the Americans are leaving. Boom. What's the highest pain move you can have? Well, I'll simply tell you. So everyone's out in crypto, right? You know, what do? You take the bulls, you make them bearish, they sell, and then they get short. And then you just take it up and up and up and up and up and up, right? It'll go to 100K and everyone's like, okay, now what do I do? And the answer will be, well, I don't know. When are we getting a dip? I'm like, dude, you got the dip to 84. Now, naturally, of course, we'll be helping you in the YouTube member area, and we will also be helping you in Patreon, where, again, we had TA from our models across 15 instruments. You know, bought the low in DASH. I got DASH at 40 off this model, right? Bitcoin at 84. We just hoovered it up. Now, if you don't know what to do, don't worry. We will sort you out today so you can enjoy your turkey, unlike Wall Street, right, which fudded everyone out and got short, keeping in mind that all of these big hedge funds that were long Bitcoin and short MicroStrategy, they covered their trade and went home, and suddenly they're going to realize that they have no Bitcoin. Even the people who are bullish were bearish. We had a thing yesterday that I didn't even get to, where someone's like, you know what? I'm bullish Bitcoin. I think it can go through 100, but it can't make a new high. So I'll do a fancy options trade, and I'll be cute. Yeah, okay. Everybody wants to get cute. And when you get too cute, what do you get? The banana zone. The banana zone, right? Because when you have a 40% correction in crypto and then you get everyone out, what happens? Particularly since Legacy was the one that scared everyone out. I mean, it's what's unbelievable. It's almost as bad as getting scared out by the Chinese communists back in 2017 when they would threaten to outlaw Bitcoin mining because all the Bitcoin mining was over there at that time. Now it was Wall Street and a mysterious FUD storm that a lot of people didn't understand except for our customers, right? Because, you know, they were threatening to kick MicroStrategy and a lot of miners out of stock indices because they had more than 50% of their assets in Bitcoin. So everyone had to sell. All the OG selling at the end of the cycle, God, the cycle, everybody was selling at the end of the cycle was really miners making adjustments to their holdings so that their stocks wouldn't get caught in this legacy storm. Now everyone's like, oh, the cycle's over. It's a bear market, the cycle. I mean, I can't get away from this. I cannot get away from it. I go on a show, all anybody wants to talk about is the cycle. Let me explain something to you. The last time crypto went down, you had insane blow off top style FOMO in ETH and NFTs, 600K for a JPEG. That was followed by a 500 basis point tightening cycle by the Fed. So the top was in 2021, and then the Fed tightens 500 basis points, and everybody thinks that's because of the Bitcoin cycle. Okay, it may have coincided with the Bitcoin cycle, but it went down because of the Fed, and then the Fed triggered FTX. So you had a system-wide liquidation margin call brought on by a tightening cycle. And everybody thinks that's going to repeat. No, actually, it's not. Right? You have a monetary reset. You have gold up only. Everyone bearish stocks. Everyone buying stocks because they're all short and underinvested again, because a dollar in stocks is better than a dollar in the bank, even if all their accounting is phony baloney. It doesn't matter. You're in the middle of a monetary reset and hard assets win. Silver up 3%. You're talking to me about the crypto cycle as if we're back in 2015 and Bitcoin was some sort of curiosity rather than a form of hard money that is required for the global monetary reset. Gold is up only, silver is up only, and everyone's like, oh, you know, a flock of them flew over that time, but, you know, I've got my MVRV, I've got this, I've got that, I've got the MACD, I've got the 55-week moving average from, you know, the peanut gallery on Twitter. What are we doing? If everyone is looking at the same thing, it's wrong. It's that simple. It's wrong. Everybody is telling me, oh, the chart's broken, the chart's broken, the chart's broken. Actually, the chart's not broken. It's not. Everybody's like, oh my God, and look at this. This is like page 60 of the technical analysis text, not even page 60. Okay, so Bitcoin goes from 15K to 125K. And then it does a 38% retracement to 84K. I didn't even realize this part. So we did a 38% retracement of a large trend. Obviously, the end of the world, right? You got to be kidding me. This is like the basics. ETH's dead, right? This is like the fourth time in a row. This is like the fourth time this year ETH has been dead. ETH goes up. Goes from 1,400 to 5,000. Naturally, at 5,000, everyone thinks it's going to 10,000. Then it retraces to 38. It goes to the 62% retracement, the magic number in crypto. 2,700 pokes below. You get all kinds of LuxAlgo signals. Right. And then you're going to come in Monday morning and the Ethereum ETF and Tom Lee's stock, and this is going to be up 10%. It could be up 10% tomorrow. Because everyone's sitting around going, okay, yeah, I'm going to eat my dinner and everything's going to be fine. I'll double up on my short on Monday. Yeah, okay, whatever. Again, the basics. What I mean, have you seen this online? No, nowhere. I have seen this nowhere on Twitter. Nowhere. Okay, but the chart's broken. It's all broken. The Bitcoin ETF. For God's sakes, man. For God's sakes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? How do you go? Why is 5 drawn like this? Oh, I'll tell you how. Because everyone gets negative after wave 4. Everyone thinks the cycle's over and it's all going to 0. And then they get caught. And then they just have to market buy it. They have to market buy it. Just like, oh, the chart's broken. Okay, the chart's not broken. Now what are you going to do? Now what? The chart was never broken, but what are you going to do now? This is a big problem. You know, retail may be short on funds, sadly, so they may have to watch this whole thing go up from the sidelines. a layer one that Toby liked, Caspa, like a machine, something that agents are going to use is up 15% for the third day in a row. Right? Everyone's like, alt season is dead. Really? DASH is up 15% today. Zcash, 20x'd. But alt season is dead. We just had a privacy alt season. What is everyone talking about? Are you crazy? And look at this. I love this. Anybody remember the dollar? The dollar is going to run into a brick wall of resistance on the monthly chart at 100. An absolute brick wall. Gee, where did the dollar go? I don't know. How about 87? How about the dollar in a free fall? Because Besant just goes, I'm pushing out all this money into the system through stable coins, a Treasury General account. And guess what? So Goldman says the Fed will cut rates in December. And where did they get that from? Well, from the guys they eat lunch with at the Fed, right? We expect another cut in December, followed by 2 more moves in March and June. Could that be because we have a problem with banks? Right? And then Bitcoin is going to sniff out Fed capitulation before anything else. But of course, let's get short. Let's get out. It's the 4-year cycle. Let's use old news and TA from crypto Twitter to do our analysis. Well, we don't need research. Who needs research? We have crypto Twitter. I mean, come on, folks. You got to admit, it's a little bit funny, right? Here is a blue line that is the complete history of the Bitcoin ETF. Here is Nasdaq Composite from 1999 and 2000. Right here in October, everyone got bearish Nasdaq because it was a bubble. It was over. It was done. Okay, yeah. Everyone thought it was done, and then it wasn't done. It was up only. As everyone piled in all at once. And naturally, of course, this can't happen to Bitcoin. Can't happen. No. That's not going to happen. That can't happen. No. Okay. You got any idea what happens when all of these guys come back in? Where's the seller? This is a big question. All these guys that were long Bitcoin, short MicroStrategy, they got out of the trade. And they made money. That's fine, right? Okay. So who's going to sell Bitcoin? Who's going to sell Bitcoin? Nobody. There's nobody left. They've been pulling Bitcoin off Coinbase like there's no tomorrow. Legacy, sold their Bitcoin and exited. Where's the seller? You're going to find out. You're going to find out while you're eating your dinner tomorrow. You're going to be looking at your phone going, hey, aren't you supposed to be paying attention to your relatives? And I'm like, yeah, my Bitcoin position's going the wrong way. And your relatives are going to look at you and go, why are you short Bitcoin? I thought you were supposed to come here on turkey dinner and tell us when to buy, and you're out and short. What's the matter with you? These guys are going to walk in the office on Monday morning. They're going to go to their meetings and they're going to be like, whoops. Wall Street FUDs the market. Fooling everybody. Somebody on Twitter. You guys are afraid of Bitcoin. Well, you should be. Long Bitcoin, short the banks. We don't need you, and we don't need Silicon Valley. Gee, who said that? Actually, I did yesterday. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to help everybody. I'm trying to help everybody, and I'm telling you, everyone's like, well, it's too late. I missed it. What, don't start that. That's the next thing people are going to do. They're going to talk themselves out of it. Where's ETH? Where's ETH? Tell me where ETH is. 3,000? You may wake up Monday and ETH could be at 3,200. Somebody tell me why ETH cannot go up 10% between now and the open on Sunday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, with Legacy having 4 hours on Sunday, on Friday. Noticing what's happening to the thing that no one likes, no one owns, and no one knows how to buy, or it's too distasteful for them to go to Coinbase, that would be Dash up 18%. And then you get a Bitcoin weekly close above either 90 or 94. I think our model said you have a 75% chance of a banana zone on a weekly close above either 90 or 94. A 75% chance of the banana zone, which Raoul Pal talks about. You know, Toby cannot stop listening to Raoul Pal podcasts where he's wearing a shirt that says blank you higher. Right? Everybody wanted 200K. Everyone wanted 200K. How do you get 200K? Well, first you catch everybody sleeping on a holiday. You gap the market up, fix all the charts, and then it's off to the races. Like, look at this JPMorgan stuff. Look at this. JPMorgan is afraid of MicroStrategy's success. They aren't protecting you. They're protecting their deposits. And then, let's listen to this. Look at this. JPMorgan applies to launch new Bitcoin-backed bonds. That was RFK's idea at Consensus before the election. So that would be over a year ago. Let me ask you something. If there's no difference between JPMorgan and the Fed, whose idea was it really to issue a bond that's got a little Bitcoin twist to it? JPMorgan doing a little pilot program for the Fed and the Treasury, wondering who's going to buy all this debt. Japanese also have problems. They FUD the market, they get the Bitcoin, and then they launch a bond using Bitcoin on behalf of governments. But the 4-year cycle is over. I mean, don't touch this thing. Get out and come back in 2 years. Jeez. I mean, people, you got to understand that everyone's like, the institutions are coming. The institutions are coming. Remember this in 2023? Right. The institutions are coming. And just like any other time you have institutions, whether it's cattle futures in the 70s, bonds in the 80s, currencies in the 90s, this is what they do. They do these grand stop running exercises. They change everyone's mind about the market. And then bada bing, bada boom, it's higher. Okay. You know, I think it's funny is Tether is buying gold. Tether's buying gold. No one notices. And I think somebody just downgraded Tether because, you know, oh my God, it's over. Yeah, here we go. S&P. When S&P or Moody's downgrade anything, yeah, you buy it for your grandma and your nephew's personal account. S&P downgrades Tether. Smaller turkey for Bitcoin holders. Right? I like this. Typical pre-Thanksgiving price action. Pre-holiday price action. Financial Times drops trifecta of Bitcoin gloom. Ugh, I mean, it doesn't get any more bullish than this. And House opposition on the Orange Man for a new age of grift and corruption. So if you think the privacy rally is over, the Orange Man, when he leaves office, is going to have to get long Monero and disappear because that meme coin is going to come back to haunt him and his family. Short-term holders pack it in, right? Okay. Okay, and Bitcoin treasury firms, they're all going to zero, right? Well, somebody bought the dip. Whoever DDC is, they bought the dip. Why does anybody care if they're listed in MSCI if they make money? These CEOs don't care about MSCI. They're compensated in the stock. Meanwhile, Cathie Wood, who actually was FUDding the market last week, loads up on Google, Coinbase, Circle, and the Bitcoin ETF. So if you want to know who bought everyone's Bitcoin, Cathie Wood did. Cathie Wood just took it all. And of course, my absolute favorite headline of all time, the great state of Texas buys the dip. God bless Texas. Meanwhile, like I said, all the crypto ninnies are talking about the end of the 4-year cycle. Not true. And even if it is true, even if the cycle is over, Raoul Paul, you know, he's a big dummy, right? Raoul Paul is telling everybody the cycle's got an extra year to go. It's got an extra year. And I will remind you, in 2017, the banana zone was Thanksgiving and Christmas, right? The Christmas headline in the New York Times was a bunch of guys in ugly Bitcoin and Ethereum Christmas sweaters. And the headline was, everybody's getting hysterically rich and you're not. That was 2017. But of course, that can't happen again, particularly after Zcash, especially if it happens if stuff that no one owns, like DASh, like Zcash, like Bitcoin Cash, like Caspa, or in stuff that, you know, people should be into. So in the YouTube member area, we discussed upside price targets in things like Avalanche, where you have a 13 and a 9 bottom. You have the Avalanche coin holding this key DeMark support point that comes from this quantitative system. And you have a quantitatively generated moving average, which most people can't see and is not on crypto Twitter, showing that there's basically nothing but air between 14 and 17. And of course, no one has considered the bigger the base, the higher in the space. Remember that? Yeah, no, it can't happen. Avalanche can definitely not go up, can definitely not to go to Toby's Chrono Mystica upside target, which is shocking. No, that can't happen. Nah. Right? Somebody go talk to somebody in the YouTube member area sitting in the Toby for more than 5 minutes. Forget about it. It's a gold mine. Sui, 9 bottom, 13 bottom, right? $1.50 for Sui. $1.50, right? Nobody home until 220. Do you remember all this talk about $5 in Sui? Do you remember that? Oh, where's Sui going? Oh, it's definitely going to $5. That's where it was at the start of last year when, you know, the orange man was going to moon everyone's bags. The orange man is going to moon everyone's bags with policy error. These guys, they can't stop printing. They can't stop printing. They can't stop handing out money. Central bankers are like drunken sailors. They just can't stop. They can't stop. Right? Oh, look, Solana breaking out through the DeMark moving average. How did that happen? Right? There's a Solana ETF. Now, okay. Now, to tone down the smart aleck just a second, it was a warning sign about the overall market that the Solana ETF and the Solana digital asset treasury companies came out and Solana didn't go up. That should have been a rut row. That should have been get to the chopper, right? Okay. That said, you know, the XRP ETF, I put up some goofy headline about sell XRP, which I want nothing. That was a joke because JPMorgan is afraid of XRP. I have like a short video, like BlackRock is afraid of XRP. It has like, it has more views than I have subscribers on the channel. The banks are afraid of XRP. And in the latest presentation that Toby did, she explains, for example, what does algorithm do? Kind of in its heart. Not what does it do technically? What does it actually mean to be long Algorand? What are the sleeper coins? Are there sleeper coins? I'll give you an example. Could Cardano go up? What goes up? What no one owns, what everyone hates, and no one knows how to buy. I mean, people know how to buy Cardano. They just, you know, they can't stomach the stink of having to hit the green button, just as an example. There's an example, right? This is that kind of rally, right? It's like the dino coins and everybody in the trenches who's still waiting for a meme coin rally. Yeah, they're going to be very disappointed. Very disappointed. Right? Because, you know, everyone's like, well, there's no such thing as alt season. It's never happening again in our lifetime. Well, you know, last time I looked, Solana, Sui, Avalanche, Monero, Zcash, and DASh are all altcoins. Last I looked. And, you know, I'm still not afraid to do Bitcoin Cash. because Bitcoin Cash has got itself above this set of moving averages, right? In other words, fail, 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 fail. You know, they can't keep it above this thing. But now, look, they're banging on it. They're keeping it there. And if you look at this on a weekly basis, is it just me, or is this like a gigantic square consolidation? You know, I was always talking about square consolidations. Yeah. So I submit to you this simple question. What happens if the entire planet is long Bitcoin? And that's debatable. But what happens if the entire planet is long Bitcoin and the transactional Bitcoins, Bitcoin Cash, Zcash, Litecoin, DASh, explode? Like, what happens if that is alt season? If alt season is on Coinbase? Now, of course, you can also have alt season in AI coins where, you know, Toby has been dropping so much knowledge that I literally, I can't process it all. I mean, I can, but, you know, I mean, you know, she's whipping and driving me like a farm donkey. It just keeps coming down the pipe. So top coins shaping the AI world. So we have, you know, a large report about the large coins and why you want to own them. We have lists of small, what she calls baby caps, because the difference between crypto and AI will fade. You'll have money and crypto plus AI, or just crypto. Start your engines for the middle tier. Party like it's 1999. Early access to, you know, Toby's stuff. This is Patreon Platinum. I mean, you know, people who consume research that, you know, you can choose from various tiers. You can get, you know, Toby on video. You can get, you know, you can get some of what I do and a combination of what we do in Patreon Platinum. You know, these guys are like, yeah, you know, let's charge $200 so we can figure out how to get 5x leverage short to catch a 3% move. Shut up. Shut up. Right? This is about investing, right? Does anybody remember that? No, of course not. Because you've never done that in crypto before, because it's different, right? What is different in crypto? It's not the cycle, it's the psychology. This is moving from trading and, you know, pump the bag so I can dump it on somebody's head and have it go down 90% and I'm a millionaire. Well, we're not doing that anymore. Toby's told you we're not doing that anymore for 2 years. 2 years. Seriously, she's still angry about meme coins. She hates it that much because the tech component of crypto and investing in tech. Said differently, I mean, NVIDIA's accounting, or the accounting of all these companies, is complete phony baloney. Meanwhile, you have crypto AI projects, which we cannot stop publishing on. You want to watch the video? We got video. You want to read reports? We got reports. Here's an example of what one person classified, or is an allegory or story to help you understand what could be going on with, you know, let's call it Magnificent Seven accounting. So you walk into a Mercedes-Benz dealer and you want to buy the SL, which is the top of the line sports car, AMG, you know, top of the line. And they go, yeah, well, that's outside your price range. We can't sell you that. They go, what are you going to use the car for? The person says, well, I'm going to use it to do DoorDash. And in order to sell the car, the Benz dealer goes, okay, I'll tell you what. We'll help you afford the car. We'll give you $20,000 a month in DoorDash business, and then you'll be able to afford the car. That's what could be going on with, you know, NVIDIA GPUs or whatever, right? We'll give you a bunch of money. You can give us equity in your DoorDash business, and then you'll have enough money to buy the car from us. Now, if that's what's actually going on, eventually time's going to be up on that. And eventually, you know, you're going to have the Santa rally because everyone got bearish. I have no idea why. You know, it's like, you know, they're obsessed with the 4-year cycle ending over there. And somehow, some way, they forgot about the Santa rally. Meaning, you know, whatever's up, gets marked up because everyone's got to own the top stocks to show on their books that they own the top stocks. So the top stocks go up only. Meanwhile, like I said, other people like retail might go, okay, well, maybe it's time to go from NVIDIA to the worst performing asset for now inside equities, which would be the Bitcoin ETF, down 30%. And all these characters from Legacy, they all draw the chart, right? Like, here's Bitcoin going down, and here's the S&P, and the S&P is going to catch up with Bitcoin on the downside. I call that the big short fantasy. The big short fantasy is everywhere, except the dollar for some reason. But the big short fantasy in Legacy just won't go away. They can't get over it. They want to be the guy in the movie. Yeah, I'm doing the big short. Me and all the hedge fund guys at the, at the hedge fund Christmas party. Yeah, we're all going to be in the big short. We've all got the same position. And what happens when everyone has the same position? It's called the big long. The big long. Crypto catches up with stonks and goes beyond stonks. I mean, if stonks and NVIDIA with phony baloney accounting, there's nothing phony baloney about the monetary reset. We're not having the monetary reset. Is that canceled? It's happening. It's happening in gold. Silver's up 3% today. Silver's up only, right? You got to remember all these currency and commodity markets. These currency markets, the futures contracts are not open, but the spot markets, I think they're open in Europe. It's not a holiday in Europe and Asia. Gee, you do have the premium zone here in silver, but you got this big triangle here. I don't know. Does this look like it wants to go up to you? I think so. Now, if not, okay, you have silver, maybe at the premium zone. And I want to say in ETH on a 4-hour chart, you were at the discount zone. So we're doing a monetary reset. And we have ETH at the discount zone on a 4-hour chart right here, this green bar. And oh, look, by the way, it's breaking out of a LuxAlgo downward sloping wedge, breaking every single triangle you could imagine. And everyone is going home and nobody is here to capture it. I mean, this is like, it's almost like stand-up comedy, except it's not funny because people are missing this, except hopefully for our customers. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, look at DASH. This is the DASH daily chart. Okay. Our models got long at like 50 something. I mean, this is breaking above every single LuxAlgo trend line you could imagine. The premium zone is at 150. And just in case you're having trouble understanding what can happen here, okay, this is still in the middle of the bigger the base, the higher into space. Because this thing traded at 400. This thing traded at 400 back in 2021. They're talking about, this is a big currency. We have every military vessel that we have headed for the country that uses this as like a transactional currency. So if they get shut off out of SWIFT, this is the currency of this big country. All the way up, all the way back to this big support point. Okay. You barely got money flowing in on the weekly chart. And everybody is all negative. Why? I mean, seriously. Okay, the 4-year cycle's over and, we broke the 55-day moving average. A 55-week moving average. I was like, okay, great, terrific. And again, everybody was looking at the same thing. And now I'm going to show you what Patreon was looking at. I might have done this yesterday, but I'm going to do it again. I'm doing it again. Right? Everyone was looking at the 55-week moving average. And I said, all right, well, let's look at something else. This is start your engines in the $25 tier. So the white line is the 100-week moving average, excuse me. So Bitcoin poked below it, hit a Gann line and a fib circle line. That was like 87K. And obviously now we're doing a reclaim at 90. And if you go back in history, you see this right here, which Patreon Platinum had several days ago. I'm sorry, the middle tier had several days ago, that whenever you get a reclaim above this 100-week moving average, it goes straight up. Now, with COVID, I'm sorry, I can't believe I said that. With cough, cold, and flu, it didn't go straight up, but it was up enough. 2019, it went straight up. Who's talking about the 100-week moving average? Nobody. I saw a guy talking about the 200 or the 300-week moving average. I don't know if that's lower or where we are right now. But, you know, guys are like, I'm short or I hate it. Other guys are like, I'll buy it lower. Guess what? Guess what? And again, you know, a reclaim above 90, you know, a 3% rally, I don't know that that qualifies as like, oh, gee, it's up too much, I can't buy it. Right? Like, it's just Zcash, right? It looks like everybody kind of forgot about Zcash. You know, maybe it's DASH, or maybe everyone's sleeping on ABC. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, yes, you had some extreme FOMO here. So, you know, maybe this underperforms as Bitcoin takes off. Then again, maybe not. Everyone's like, oh my God, you know, Zcash is like Bitcoin when it was at 500. Like, I want to go back to 2015 and buy Bitcoin at 500. Okay, here it is. Who's talking about this anymore? Nobody. Oh yeah, okay, we're going to put it in an ETF. All right, very exciting. But before they put it in an ETF, I think the Winklevoss twins and these guys that are along this stuff are like Kyle Samani. You know, this can go both ways. You know, Wall Street pounded it into sand, and now Wall Street is on vacation. And, you know, the Kyle Samanis, the Michael Saylors, the Mike Novogratzes, the Winklevoss twins. Oh yeah, they can moon this all weekend. Market makers are not going to get in front of this. Market makers are wounded after that Binance crash. Like I said, I keep going back to this. Where's the seller? Someone's going to come in over the holidays and go like, yeah, I want to buy a gigantic amount of crypto. And the market makers are going to be like, well, you know what? We'll put your orders into the market, but we're not taking the other side of some huge order and getting run over because we're still messed up from, you know, this crash. So this wounded market that worked against everybody as the thing went down only, which was frightening. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, man. I mean, I thought this was, I was like, oh my God, you know, I became a hodler by accident. I'm like, well, I'm supposed to be stopping out at 90, but my model says give it another week, you know, because it went to 80 something. It felt like I said, the overshoot of the overshoot of the overshoot. Okay. Burger King Cook says, hi, Mom, you about to be debt free. Oh my God. See, this is what I'm talking about, right? This is what I'm talking about. 30% of Americans are having no holiday this year. None. Oh, and by the way, I will tell you something else. You know, Wall Street and economists, they estimate where Black Friday sales should be. Now, Toby doesn't think Black Friday sales are going to be terrible, like they're going to fall off a cliff, but it could be interesting to see where Black Friday sales come in per store versus what's expected, right? Like economists will do estimates, and then all of these numbers are going to be coming out right after Black Friday. So you got to watch out in this market. If Black Friday sales come in below expectations, in other words, they probably won't be, you know, there won't be a disaster because it's going to be 80% off everything. But if it's not what they think it is, then does Powell have a monster wake-up call in December? Does he have to talk super dovish? Or does the orange man come out and say, yeah, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm going to announce the new Fed chairman, and then Bessent is going to push the Treasury General account into the market. He's sitting on $1 trillion. I mean, if I had $1 for every time I heard somebody on YouTube or crypto Twitter say the word liquidity, I could buy one whole Bitcoin. I swear. Everyone's like, well, it's really all about liquidity. Before it was really all about tariffs and inflation. Tariffs turned out to be deflationary. Then it was about money supply. That was wrong because a lot of that was money coming out of China. So the money supply experts, the tariff experts, the technical analysis experts, and now everybody is an expert on liquidity, on the plumbing of the U.S. banking system, right? Crypto Twitter it's amazing. They're it's like the Matrix, right? You lay down in the chair and they just jack you in and go, okay, I want to learn Kung Fu. I want to learn money supply, tariffs. Get out of here. People listen to this. Does anybody wonder why I have a microphone and I shout into it anyway? This is why. To stop people from falling for nonsense. There's a fundamental difference between crypto Twitter and research. There really is, right? We do research. You know what I'm saying? Like, here's QQQ, right? So Jim Cramer is like, ignore the market. It should go down. QQQ breaks a trend line. LuxAlgo comes in with a buy signal. Now, of course, this is not what you want to own at all, right? But okay, here's everyone's favorite legacy graph. Let's have a little laugh. Okay. The blue line is the Bitcoin futures contract. The candlestick graph is QQQ. Oh my God, QQQ is going to collapse. I'm going to be in Big Short 2. No, you're not, homie. You're going to be in like, I missed it. I'm stupid. That's what you're going to be in because it's the big long, right? Like this Satoshi Nakamoto white paper. Everyone's like, oh my God, who's Satoshi? Is it some bad guy? Is there a law enforcement problem? I mean, could they have fudded it anymore? It's in the files. Michael Saylor's going to get liquidated. MicroStrategy is going to zero. MSCI is going to kick out all the Bitcoin treasury companies. All the miners have to sell. The Bitcoin OGs are out. The cycle is over. Did I miss anything? I don't think so. I don't think I missed anything. But the one thing I didn't miss was when Toby Ward starts out the last two podcasts with a good old-fashioned clairvoyant head tilt and says, yeah, this is over. This down move's over. It's like, okay, yeah, that's the market update. That's the podcast for this week. We'll see you later. I have to go hit the green button until I break it and I need a new phone. I mean, I'm serious. And you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. When this thing cracked 90, I was panicking. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, oh yeah, this never affected me because I'm like big stud hodler. No way. Only the cleaner was going to know how scared I was when this thing did a weekly close below 90. I mean, it didn't just close below 90 and then drip lower. I mean, it exploded through 90 and closed at 86. If I was going to get out, I would have had to sell at like 86. That was the original plan. So, I mean, yeah, I can talk all the smack I want to talk, but, I was scared out of my mind because I didn't figure this out until the last minute, until this MSCI nonsense came out, until Wall Street calls up, they are the customers of MSCI. MSCI is a company that makes stock indices. So they call up MSCI and say, kick Michael Saylor out. Kick out anybody who is long more than 50% of digital assets. I'm like, wow, really? So are you guys doing that with Swiss francs and euros? You know what I'm saying? Like if somebody's holding all cash, like Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett's company, has a huge cash position in dollars. Are you kicking him out for owning a currency? He owns dollars. So you're kicking them out, right? You're kicking out somebody with Swiss francs, euros, yen. They're electronic currencies. their forms of money. Now, the good news is Mr. Market is going to give them a lesson. It's like, oh, you want to kick us out of an index? Oh, excellent. Excellent. We will just moon this until you like it. 100. Do you like it? No. Okay. 115, Michael Saylor's average price for the year. Do you like it yet? Okay. No. We're at 120. They're like, well, it's the all-time high. It can't possibly go above the all-time high. I can't possibly like it here. Okay. Matter of fact, I'm going to sell and get out. I was saying that. I was like, oh, God, if this thing ever goes back to 120, I'm getting out. Toby's like, shut up. Shut up. I was like, okay, maybe I need to go back and recompute. But, of course, at 150, MicroStrategy will be a must add, right? They'll be buying MicroStrategy at Charles Schwab and Morgan Stanley and all these brokerage houses, right? Bitcoin will be a must hold. Solana ETF, I mean, gotta have it. Gotta have it. Gotta have XRP. It's improving the banking system. Can you just hear this stuff? I mean, again, it was going to zero, like what, 3 days ago? It was going to zero. I mean, who is going to go home? Who in crypto is going to go home for Thanksgiving? I was getting calls when it was at 88 or 90 going, oh my God, do I buy? Like normies were coming in going, is now a good time to buy? And I said, you know what? The best thing you can do is just buy every week. Start now and buy a little bit every week. That way, if it went to 75, you'd be happy. And that way you'll have some now. You get it at 90 or 100 or whatever. So you're going to be the crypto guy sitting at the dinner table, and everybody is going to want to know when to buy Bitcoin. And you're going to say, well, we can all buy together because on the couch, because I'm short and I need to get out. And then I need to get long. Because people may not cover shorts. The chart may still look terrible. Shorts may add. I can see that. I can see shorts adding at 90. Going, yeah, it's not going to go below 90, right? Because this is what traders do. They miss the move. This is why, it's a battle between analysts and momentum guys and traders. Like traders have had every advantage. These guys have been king of the world for the last 4 weeks, right? Market goes down. They took no heat on positions. None. It just was a down only. Down, sit, down, sit. They had every advantage. They didn't have to cover. Guys are like at 99, easy money has been made, and it just kept, it's like, yeah, it's time to cover. Some guys covered, and then it just kept going down. Now, what are they going to do when it goes up? Well, they missed it, so they're going to fight it. They're going to short it, and then, you know what they're going to get? I'm going to tell you what they're going to get if they fight it, which they will, because that's what happens when traders miss stuff just instinctively. They're going to get purple rain. They're going to get 1999. This is what they're going to get, right? They're going to get purple rain blaring in the background of the market update as I watch them scurry to try to get long. I mean, I'm not kidding. You may not, I mean, not you, but I mean, there are people out there who miss this on the institutional level, and they're going to want their Bitcoin back, and I don't know who's going to sell it to them. And I'm going to tell you something else too. This goes for altcoins. Did I mention altcoins? I haven't mentioned altcoins, right? Because we're never having altcoin season again, right? Altcoins are dead. It's never happening. Right. Okay. Total 3. So they sold total 3 into a giant GAN line, right? They sold total 3 into exactly the point where it bottomed in July. They just relentlessly sold altcoins right onto a big GAN point. I mean, they literally hammered it into sand. And some of this stuff isn't really up today. It really isn't up. Like there's still a lot of red in altcoins. Like Propy, the real estate coin, is some of the coins that are up. The finance coins are up. I saw Pendle up 8%. Checks is real world assets, right? Virtuals is up 3%. I mean, because we definitely can't have an AI rally, right? There's going to be no AI rally. Okay. You should really check out the new report. Oh my God, look what they did to Tau. I mean, this is like the bottom of the range in Tau. It went from 500 to 290 on a line. Near. Did you know Near, there's an AI grayscale basket? Near is the layer one inside the basket. Anybody remember the bigger the base, the higher in the space? I mean, can you even see that? Does any of the price action from the last 3 days even register on the Near daily chart? I mean, is this, am I imagining this, or is this pre-FTX at 17? Why does no one think AI agents are going to be around? Have you seen Elon on the tape going, robots are going to make the world a better place? Okay. Right before he unleashes the robots on everyone's workforce, and you're going to the water cooler, and, Grok, the LLM, gets put inside of a robot operating system, and the guy in the cubicle next to you is a robot. That's happening next year. Everyone acts like this stuff is not happening, right? We're talking about the end of the cycle, and you really should be talking about what's going to be happening with humans in the workplace. And whether it's in the workplace or whether it's somewhere else, let me ask you something. Have you seen the Optimus 3 robot on TV or Twitter anywhere? No, because they don't want to freak everyone out for the holidays. They don't want everyone losing their mind. When Optimus is like walking around the mall, or like, Optimus is like, dancing with a good-looking girl at a nightclub, they don't want you seeing that at the holidays. That's happening. That's happening next year. Everyone's like, well, what's the 2026 preview? The 2026 preview goes something like this. There is no such thing as crypto and AI anymore. It's one trade. That is it. That's it. That's all you need to know. And Toby just keeps sending me all these little AI small caps, right? It's like my inbox. It's like ding, ding, ding. Toby's like, by the way, Bill, did I tell you I liked AI small caps? I'm like, yes, Toby, I think you told me that. Well, I'm going to tell you again so that you understand. Like, don't look at me if you don't have AI small cap reports for our podcast. Don't even come on the podcast. Just don't talk to me if you don't have it. Okay, so here is a classic bit of TA. Now, what happened in Aero, and I'm just going to get full on irresponsible. Don't mind me. So what happens in Aero if all of this resistance that LuxAlgo is putting in front of a lot of coins, what happens if that resistance gets broken? In other words, the quantitative system is looking at Jamie's phony baloney decline and thinking it might mean a downtrend and resistance. And what happens if they blow through that? What happens if ETH? I mean, are you telling me ETH is going to take off 10% and Aero is not going to go up? No, that's just crazy, right? Sort of surprised LuxAlgo is not drawing this, right? So here's your accumulation cone in Aero. Naturally, you have to break down below it and get everyone out. That's just what they did. They just got everyone out. You could not hold the position. I mean, I know I've told this story before, but I'm telling you again. I know this guy. This guy was like a mentor of mine. I think he's still in the business. John Rocket Spinello. Like, his nickname Rocket was so famous for whatever reason. Merrill Lynch let him have it on his business card. He was trading the 2-year note before the 1987 crash. And he knew that you wanted to be long bonds. He knew stocks were going to go. And they all knew. But for whatever reason, Greenspan was talking so tough about interest rates that bonds kept falling and falling and falling. They couldn't do risk reward because it was like crypto. It just was literally down only. They could not hold a position. They would buy it, get stopped, buy it, get stopped, buy it, get stopped. Right until stocks went, and then it was up only for 5 years in bonds. But you could not get long. And Bitcoin, this felt the same way. It felt the same in Bitcoin. Never mind alts. Never mind any of that. Right? You couldn't be long. You couldn't psychologically handle it. The only thing you could listen to was the cycle's over. And that might have made people feel better. It's like, all right, well, my bags are wrecked. I'm done. But the cycle's over and I'll come back in 2 years. Buy more Monero, says Dot. The bigger the base, the lower into the ground. Okay. Hey, listen, Toby Ward keeps giving me all these interoperability small caps, right? What are machines going to do in the market? They're going to want interoperability. They're going to want privacy, and they're going to want cross-chain, right? I mean, machines are doing this. Agents are coming. I mean, Google is building 3 data centers in Texas. You use Gemini 3? Oh my God. Warren Buffett has a position in Google. He didn't want any in 2004 when it IPO'd, but 20 years later at $4 trillion in market cap, it's much more attractive. People are incredible. Like, this is happening, and everybody is acting like it's not happening. It's happening. And frankly, like I said, maybe I'm being a tad bit obnoxious, but Toby is not obnoxious. She has very smooth rants, nice rants, not knuckle dragger rants, just a nice rant. It's like, listen, this is how it is. This is how it's going to be. Don't give me this. Don't give me this, the trenches. Don't give me this, spike it up and dump it on somebody's head. Talk to me about investing. We're talking about investing in crypto. I know that sounds nuts, right? Because what we're supposed to do is pump it and then dump it on somebody's head. And that's not how this works. It's not. It just isn't. Okay. Let's take a brief moment to welcome all the nice people who are here, especially our YouTube members. By the way, before I do that, to our customers, to our viewers, to our subscribers, to anybody who listens to us, let me say at Thanksgiving, it's a rare time when Americans actually behave and are truly grateful. And as I learned to say in Legacy, we appreciate your business. We appreciate you, our customers, our viewers. If you've ever hit the like button, if you've ever watched the show, thank you. Okay. Now, let's welcome who's here. We have Bull Runner, who, never misses a stream and is on there, quick, fast, in a hurry, whether I'm doing my own show or I'm talking with Crypto Princess or whatever I'm doing. Zapadas, a member. Hal Lopez up in the middle of the night in Portugal. He's going to sleep when he's dead, Art, 1968, working the night shift at the Amsterdam airport, getting Americans where they need to go in Europe for the holiday. God bless you, sir. The Fuzz Crypto. All right, Bill, when will BTC hit the all-time high? I don't know. How about Monday? Monday, anyone? All-time high? Well, why not? I know. That's crazy. MJ hits. Odd Dark. Bill and Toby called it. Yeah, it was more like Toby, and then I put I figured it out with the model and the charts. When she said it's over, I was like, oh my God, I have supported 84K. Right? DNT Saver, Alpha Video, Burger Can Cook, YouTube members. We appreciate you. Your base Getting that right for the first time, as in bass player. Welcome. Gavin Busby, DGen Dojo. By the way, if you're a YouTube member, even if you got the $4 membership, you can get access to all the cool emojis, right? The Spartan Colonel, the Eagle King, Bill the Chopper Pilot, and Toby as a Marilyn Monroe lookalike. And DGen Dojo is now a Spartan Colonel after being a member for a year with that super special emoji. Francis is here. Wrong again. What's up? Robot. Odd Dark. Prothma. I can't. There's no way. 7391. The circus is so fun to watch. God, isn't it? The human. I used to work with this guy who used to look at the market. You know, he was in everybody in, everybody out, everybody back in. That's where I got it from. He used to look at the market and goes, oh my God, the humanity of it all. Because I used to watch the futures contract live. The humanity of it all. Oh, goodness. Crypto Tilly says, watch out what happens if they pull out the Clarity Act. Ruh-roh. Everybody out and they're doing the Clarity Act, right? Right. Satoshi is here. We got all these new names. We got Goat Talk. Wrong again. Mojo. Work for Panic. Can't do it because we're broke. We got a message in a far off language. Did you sell seed phrase? No, sir. We did not sell the seed phrase. You should not. Nobody should be doing that. Right. By the way, I will never ask you for money. I will never invite you into a WhatsApp group. I will never invite you into Telegram. I am very thankful for you. Do not talk to any fake Bill Nobles. I'm going to talk to Bill Noble. It's the Patreon chats. That's it. Right. Burger Can Cook. Kale Umaris. Welcome. Good afternoon, Patreon Spartans. ADL, Ram, Prothmotic, Work for Panic. Francis Covilla hooked you up with Arrow. Welcome. Jason, Smack Talk. Goodness. AKT at the lows, ready to bounce. Dude, this AI stuff. Oh my God. Tau, Akash, Render. You know, Toby smacks me with the goddess sandal if I give away too much. Bro, listen to me. You know, everyone says all coins are dead. It's never going to happen. We won't, like the thing that happened with privacy was a mirage, right? Every privacy coin mooned indiscriminately, but you know, that doesn't count because it's not my bag. Unfortunately, what goes up is not necessarily your bag. Like you can't just put stuff in a bag that was from, you know, the last group of investing themes. Like if you were in the trenches in 2024, you know, some of that stuff might come back. Some of it might not. Who cares? Who cares? Like, for example, if you did a bad trade, if you got short, I panicked and turned it around. Look, who cares? You know, my final words for Thanksgiving, right? 4 words. So what? Now what? That's it, right? Who cares what happened? Who cares what happened yesterday? Who cares? The only easy day was yesterday. Enjoy your dinner. Eat your dinner. And above all, don't lose hope in crypto. If you're messed up, touch grass, eat some protein, watch some football, and don't be like the legacy dummies who think that this is going to that they're going to be able to short it on Monday. You won't want to short it on Monday. That's the market update for today. We will see you next week.